Once feared and adored as the Notorious, Conor McGregor stood at the top of the MMA world. He was fast, ruthless, confident, a true knockout artist. But now, the man who once owned the UFC spotlight barely fights at all. Instead, he's hanging out with politicians, promoting bare-knuckle events and chasing headlines outside the cage. What happened to the fighter who ruled two divisions? How did a global superstar go from glory to gossip? Share your thoughts in comments below. This is the brutal fall of Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor's story didn't start in luxury. He had a dream: to fight. And not just fight, but dominate. In 2013, he joined the UFC. In just a few fights, McGregor became a sensation. His sharp left hand, unpredictable movement, and knockout power made him a fan favorite. He talked big, and he backed it up. One of McGregor's most iconic moments came when he faced Jose Aldo, a champion who hadn't lost in almost a decade. But Conor, he ended the fight in just 13 seconds. One punch. History made. This wasn't just a win, it was a statement. McGregor wasn't just a good fighter, he was becoming a legend. After that, he made UFC history again by becoming the first fighter to hold two belts in different weight classes at the same time. But it wasn't just his skills. Conor was a genius in promoting himself. He knew how to talk. He sold fights better than anyone. Fans either loved him or wanted to see him lose. Either way, they watched. Every press conference was a show. Every fight announcement was an event. And while others trained quietly, McGregor built a brand. Then came the fight that changed everything. Not in the octagon, but in the boxing ring. McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. Fans were excited. But deep down, many knew this wasn't about fighting. It was about the money. The event made headlines worldwide. Conor trained hard, but he was outmatched. Mayweather won easily. Still, McGregor walked away with over $100 million in earnings. And with that kind of money, things started to change. McGregor eventually returned to the UFC, but things weren't the same. He now faced Khabib Nurmagomedov, a quiet, disciplined, undefeated champion.
Big game, now I'm here. He done fucking nothing. He sat and took a shit on that bus, hid and cowered behind fucking women, and caused what happened to happen.
In the build-up, Conor used his usual trash talk, insulting Khabib's religion, family, and country. But once the cage door shut, the hype ended. Khabib dominated the fight. He smashed McGregor, submitted him, and then jumped out of the cage to attack Conor's team. It was chaos. The UFC had never seen anything like it. McGregor didn't just lose that night. He lost his aura. After that loss, McGregor's career took a turn. He fought sporadically. He beat Donald Cerrone quickly in 2020, but then came the Dustin Poirier trilogy. In their third fight, disaster struck. McGregor's leg snapped during the fight. A brutal injury. He lay on the mat, yelling, helpless. It wasn't just a fight lost. It was a long road to recovery. As McGregor stepped away from fighting, headlines didn't stop. But they weren't about knockouts or belts. They were about trouble. From being caught in street fights, to being accused of assault, to reckless driving. Conor's name stayed in the news for the wrong reasons.
No. Listen, what we're going to do for these two gentlemen, as well as a bonus, is double the purse. They're getting double pay. That's it, straight.
On social media, he posted bizarre rants, picked fights with fans, and mocked other fighters. His wild personality, once charming, was now worrying. The same fire that once made him exciting now looked more like chaos. In 2024, McGregor made headlines again, not with his fists, but with his politics. He met with Donald Trump, shook hands, smiled for the cameras, and even praised him publicly. Some fans supported it. Others were confused. Why was a former UFC champion getting involved in US politics? McGregor spoke about leadership, about making America great again, and began using social media like a political influencer, rather than an athlete. It was clear, his focus was shifting far from the cage. Instead of training for fights, McGregor started attending and promoting events for Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, BKFC. He was seen at their shows, smiling, holding a belt, talking business. So, what really caused the fall of Conor McGregor? Was it the money, the fame, the distractions? Maybe it was all of it. His fighting style changed. He became less explosive. His focus was divided: business, politics, personal issues. And the sport? It moved on. New stars rose. Fighters like Islam Makhachev, Sean O'Malley, and Leon Edwards started owning the spotlight McGregor once held. So, is he done? Only time will tell. But one thing is clear. The fighter known as the Notorious might never return. And that is the real loss. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe Punch Talk for more UFC updates and news.
5 years in prison. That's the sentencing for former UFC star Cain Velasquez. This comes after he pleaded no contest in connection with the shooting in which he says he targeted a man who had molested one of his relatives.
Cain Velasquez, a former UFC heavyweight champion, just made headlines for all the wrong reasons after being sentenced to 5 years in prison for a 2022 shooting. The incident, stemming from a father's desperate attempt to protect his son, has sparked a massive debate about justice and vigilante actions. With fans and fighters divided, many are questioning the fairness of the sentence. The question remains, should he have been punished, or was his action justified? Share your thoughts in comment below. Cain Velasquez's life took a drastic turn in 2022 when he found himself on the other side of the law. On February 28, 2022, Velasquez was involved in a high-speed car chase in San Jose, California. The target of his pursuit was Harry Goulart, a man accused of molesting Velasquez's then 4-year-old son at a daycare owned by Goulart's mother. During the chase, Velasquez fired multiple rounds from a .40 caliber handgun at the vehicle carrying Goulart, his mother, and stepfather, Paul Bender. Unfortunately, the bullets missed Goulart but struck Bender in the arm and torso, leading to non-life-threatening injuries. Velasquez was arrested without incident following the chase and subsequently faced multiple felony charges, including attempted murder, assault, and weapons offenses. In August 2022, he pleaded no contest to these charges, setting the stage for his sentencing. On March 24, 2025, Velasquez sentenced to 5 years in prison by Judge Arthur Bocanegra in Santa Clara County Court. The sentence was met with a mix of emotions, as Velasquez will receive credit for time already served, potentially reducing his prison time to 1 to 2 years. Velasquez's actions were certainly controversial. On one hand, it's easy to understand a father's reaction when faced with the unspeakable pain of his child being victimized. But on the other hand, firing a weapon in public raises serious legal and ethical concerns. After multiple hearings, Velasquez pled no contest to the charge of attempted murder and was sentenced to 5 years in prison. Velasquez's defense team, led by attorney Renee Hessling, hoped that the court would take into account the emotional toll of the situation. Cain has shown incredible courage throughout this ordeal, Hessling stated after the sentencing. This is a man who was pushed to the edge by circumstances beyond his control. The backlash against the sentencing has been fierce, particularly within the MMA community. Many fans and fighters have expressed support for Velasquez, believing that his actions were born out of a father's instinct to protect his child. Brazilian fighter Renato Moicano took to Twitter to express his disbelief at the ruling, saying, "It's crazy that Cain Velasquez was sentenced to 5 years. The only thing he did wrong was missing the target." Khabib Nurmagomedov tweeted a simple yet powerful message: "Stay strong, Lion." Jorge Masvidal showed his support with the hashtag #FreeCain, while Ariel Helwani expressed his heartbreak for Velasquez and his family. Fans have also been vocal about their support for Velasquez, with many expressing outrage at the legal system. Some have called for a pardon, while others have criticized the handling of the case. One fan reacted to the sentencing with the words, "Absolutely bull hit," while another pleaded, "Free Cain Velasquez." In a twist of irony, some fans have even suggested a more unconventional route for Velasquez's release. Dana White better hit up Donald Trump ASAP. One tweet read. Teehee suggestion was that the UFC president could leverage his influence to have Velasquez pardoned, citing the pardons granted to individuals involved in the 2021 Capitol riot. The hashtag #Free Cain Velasquez quickly gained traction on social media, showing how divided the public remains on the matter. Bryce Mitchell, another UFC fighter, posted a bold statement on Instagram, calling for a pardon for Velasquez and suggesting more severe punishment for child molesters. Pardon Cain Velasquez and put these child molesters to death. That's what I would do, he wrote.
Pardon Cain Velasquez and put these child molesters to death. That's what I would do. That's what I would do if I was in charge, brother. I promise you that on everything.
Harry Goulart, the man accused of molesting Velasquez's son, is currently awaiting trial, scheduled for June 2nd, 2025. He has pleaded not guilty to charges of lewd acts with a minor. The handling of Goulart's case has also been under scrutiny, with many questioning why he was released without bail shortly after his arrest. Cain Velasquez's sentencing marks a somber chapter in the life of a man once celebrated for his strength in the UFC. The case has ignited a fierce debate about justice, family protection, and the limits of the law. As Velasquez serves his sentence, the MMA community continues to rally around him, hoping for a resolution that reflects the complexities of the situation. In addition to the criminal case, Velasquez's family has initiated a civil lawsuit against Goulart and his family's businesses. The UFC community's support for Velasquez highlights the emotional and moral dilemmas faced by those involved in the case. Do you believe Cain Velasquez was justified in his actions, or did he cross a dangerous line by taking the law into his own hands? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe Punch Talk for more latest UFC updates. Jon Jones is under fire from UFC fans after reports surfaced that he requested 6 months to prepare for a heavyweight title unification bout against interim champion Tom Aspinall.
Undefeated champion, or rather undisputed champion, was going to take on the interim champion? What do you mean you need 6 months? 6 months from when? 6 months starting when?
While UFC CEO Dana White has guaranteed that the fight will happen later this year, fans are growing impatient, accusing Jones of delaying tactics and gatekeeping the division. The heavyweight title unification bout between Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall has been one of the most anticipated matchups in recent UFC history. After defeating Stipe Miocic at UFC 309 in November, Jones initially dismissed the idea of fighting Aspinall.
Would you then be open to fighting Tom Aspinall, or are you categorically thinking, he does nothing for me, I will not fight that guy?
He does nothing for me. He does nothing for me.
But warmed up to the possibility after seeing Aspinall dominate Sergey Pavlovich to claim the interim title. Aspinall later defended his belt with a first-round TKO victory over Curtis Blades at UFC 304, solidifying his position as a legitimate contender. Since then, negotiations between Jones, Aspinall, and the UFC have been slow-moving. Reports from MMA journalist Ariel Helwani revealed that Jones wants a 6-month training camp once the fight is officially signed. This timeline would push the bout to September or later, frustrating fans who feel the delay is unnecessary. The news of Jones's 6-month request sparked outrage among UFC fans on social media. Many accused him of avoiding a fight with Aspinall and criticized his approach to defending the heavyweight title. One fan on X wrote, "It's ridiculous. Jon was out for what? 3 whole years to acclimate to the heavyweight division. All he was doing was training. Now he needs another 6 months on top of the 4 he's already had? Bro needs to fight or give up the belt and come back when he really wants to fight against Tom. Enough with the gatekeeping." Others compared Jones's actions to Conor McGregor's delays in fighting Michael Chandler, with one fan stating, "What Conor did to Chandler, Jon Jones is doing to Tom Aspinall." Some fans even called for Jones to vacate his heavyweight title if he continues delaying the fight. Just vacate the belt, that's it. Make Aspinall heavyweight champion. Jones's longtime rival Daniel Cormier weighed in on the controversy, dismissing the 6-month camp request as a negotiation tactic rather than a genuine need for preparation.
This whole Tom Aspinall, John Jones thing, for lack of a better word, is just weird.
Cormier suggested that Jones might be leveraging time as a way to secure better terms with the UFC or avoid rushing into what could be one of his toughest fights. Cormier's perspective carries weight given his history with Jones, which includes 2 heated battles and one of MMA's most intense rivalries. Meanwhile, Tom Aspinall has expressed disappointment over the lack of progress in negotiations. The British interim champion has been vocal about wanting to unify the titles.
Completely aware of that. Don't want to talk about, I've been staying away from the media and talking about John Jones a lot because in all honesty, I'm sick of talking about it myself.
And prove himself against one of MMA's all-time greats. Despite his frustration, Aspinall remains focused on training and staying ready for whenever the fight date is announced. Aspinall said, "I'm just training and getting everything focused to be as fit and ready as I possibly can. Because, who knows, they might spring the date on me quick," Aspinall said. "Or they might say the date is in 6 months, I don't know. But that's always kind of what happens between fights anyway. You never really know when your next one is." Aspinall's father recently added fuel to the fire by calling for Jones to vacate his belt if negotiations don't move forward soon. What's next for John Jones and Tom Aspinall? Share your thoughts in the comment section.
Would you guarantee 100% we see that fight?
Yeah, I'll say 100%.
UFC 314 is set to explode as Paddy Pimblett will face Michael Chandler in a high-stakes co-main event. And the result could shake up the entire lightweight division. Who's walking out victorious? Drop your thoughts below. Paddy the Baddie. Pimblett has been turning heads ever since his UFC debut in 2021. Known for his bold personality and thrilling fight style, he's built a strong fan following. With a perfect 6-0 UFC record, Pimblett has shown he's no joke in the octagon. He's claimed 3 wins by submission and 1 by knockout, proving his versatility as a fighter. His most impressive performance came at UFC 304, where he took down Bobby Green with a slick submission finish, earning a Performance of the Night bonus. Before joining the UFC, Pimblett dominated in Cage Warriors, holding the featherweight title and challenging for the lightweight belt. Critics doubted if he'd succeed in the UFC, but he silenced them with his performances, now ranked number 1. 12 in the lightweight division, Pimblett's fight against Chandler is his biggest test yet. A win here could launch him into the UFC's elite ranks. Chandler's UFC journey has been rocky. With a 2-4 record in the promotion, he's faced some of the toughest names in the division, including Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier. Despite those losses, Chandler's explosive style and fearless approach have kept him a crowd favorite. The UFC 314 pre-fight press conference delivered fiery exchanges and bold declarations from both Paddy Pimblett and Michael Chandler. Paddy Pimblett expressed frustration over being underestimated despite his undefeated UFC record. He emphasized the significance of facing a top 10 opponent like Chandler, who has fought legends and competed for the title. "Every fight, I get underestimated and overlooked," Pimblett said during the press conference. "But I'm getting in there now with someone who's top 10, someone who's fought all the legends in the division. He's fought for the title. So finally, I'm going to get in there, and when I win, people can't chat shit, but they will." Pimblett confidently predicted that a victory over Chandler would elevate him to number 1. Michael Chandler, ranked number 1. 7th in the lightweight division, didn't shy away from making spine-chilling remarks about his intentions for the fight against Pimblett. "I respect Paddy. I think Paddy's a skilled fighter. I think he's still got a bright future," Chandler said in a video posted on social media following the fight announcement. "But I think he's going to run into a buzzsaw named Michael Chandler on April 12th. Chandler vowed to deliver another trademark performance that would have fans on their feet. "As always, I will be the most entertaining guy that steps inside the octagon that night. I will have everybody on their feet. I will have everybody on the edge of their seat.